Welcome to the Alumni Affairs Office on behalf of the Jawaharlal Nehru University. I welcome the alumni and the parents for joining us in the today's alumni meet. Due to morning heavy rain, the schedule got a little bit changed, and one of our distinguished alumni is sitting next with me. He's from Center for Historical Studies, and he's an archaeologist, trained archaeologist. He's happened to be in Delhi, and he has published quite a number of series of books. So he's also so excited and as like alumni to be with us and see the campus and share his work. So we are very glad to have Mr. Tkv.Rajan. He's quite popular in temple architecture and archaeology, ASI, and also his colleague Mr. Seetharaman. So both have published a book. And so we are, thank you very much, sir, thank you for your presence. I think this is, when did you come last to the campus?
Some 25 years ago.
25 years ago, great. So he is very popular in the US, most of his work, and he is a visiting professor in US universities. And Mr. Seetharaman is also trained architect and temple architect. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us. With this few remarks, may I request Tkv.Rajan to introduce himself as being an alumni, share his thoughts, 3 minutes.
Respected many gentlemen, respected professor, it's a great privilege for me to be here with you all. After long of 2.5 decades, I just reached back here and then I saw the posters. JNU has not changed much. So the second is, whenever I speak about my research in archaeology in America, wherever, I always say that I'm alumni of JNU. There's a lot of surprise. And also not only that, JNU, all said and done, is playing a pivotal role in promoting research all over India and the world. I have met so many alumni who are from JNU in America and Europe. They're all doing a great research. For me, I have done more than 4 books and I have done a lot of research. All I got it from JNU. My mentor was most respected Romila Thapa, and also Dr. Chandralakshmi is no more, no, she passed away last year. I still remember we used to stay in the library till 12 o'clock in the night. In those days, libraries kept open 24 hours. I don't know what is now.
Even today, it's
very nice. And then one van will pick up and we'll go to the Periyar hostel. And then I also organized one Omega Science Association. My senior was Prakash Karat, quite senior. Then we had a very wonderful, and then I cannot forget Dr. Gopal, who is a professor of history, son of illustrious Radhakrishnan, president. So it's a very sterling, still it's lingering in my mind. I must be having a lot of ideas, but one thing I want to tell and then finish my thing due to lack of time, whatever I have now, if you just browse my name, Tkv.Rajan Archaeology in Google, there's no ego I'm telling, all I got it from the research, the input from JNU. Thank you very much, sir. All the professors like that, they're doing a great job. Thanks a lot, Jagannathan, for having given me a great opportunity for this. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And we also introduce our the Center for Historical Studies chairperson and also Dean, Mr. Hiraman Tiwari, sir, is here. Thank you so much. And we have got one of your alumni. And also request Mr. Seetharaman to briefly introduce yourself.
Namaskaram. Basically, I'm a builder, passionate towards history. So with that, I have finished MPhil in history and temple architecture. And also, I am one among the editors of varlara.com, exclusive web magazine. It deals with temple architecture, inscriptions, and social studies. With my interest, I pursue, and I have released 5 books today with you, the prestigious University of India. I am presenting my book on Trika Shaivism and Thirumandiram, a comparative study. Thank you so much for the great opportunity. Thank you all.
With this, now we go for the release event. Yeah, to release the book of Mr.
You can speak a little aloud, that's it.
To release the book of Mr. Seetharaman. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No, no. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, great.
That's for you, sir. We request Chairperson, Center for Historical Studies, to release one of his alumni.
We'll all do it together. This will be violent with the paper. Yeah. पीछे. Sir. Yeah, ये हम दोनों ले लेंगे ना. Sir, congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Respected Professor Kaushal Kumar Sharmaji, Dean of School of Social Sciences, Professor Hirman Tiwari, Chairperson, Center for Historical Studies, respected Dr. Jagannathan, Associate Professor, School of International Studies, respected Mr. Seetharaman, who is a internationally well-known historian. It's a great honor for me to be here with you all. So my book is Ancient Kashmir and Sri Lanka. So how I got into this, I was doing a research on Kashmir when I visited Barsaho, that's a Neolithic site. There is a lot of skeletons, and one anthropologist did a research on that and said that earliest trepanation surgery was performed in Kashmir some 3,500 years ago. Till dating of that Barsaho is now 2,400 BC, you have to add another 2,000. So 4,500 years ago, there was a trepanation surgery was performed by the doctor. Very nicely it was performed, one of the best in the world. That's all the anthropology. It was appeared in a peer-reviewed journal also. When I read the article, I found the person who actually operated on these people have come from South India. So that took me a clue. Later our research showed that there is every possibility the doctor might have come from Adichanallur, called cradle of the ancient Tamil civilization, located in Tirunelveli of Tamil Nadu, where the same type of trepanation was performed, same type of surgery was performed very nicely. That gave me an interesting clue to work on ancient Kashmir, the link with South India. During 11th century, in the Tirubadaimaradu temple, there's a big Shiva temple, we found inscriptions saying that Kashmir Pandits visited Tamil Nadu and gave a lot of donations. And one more thing, Shimendra, well-known dramatist from Kashmir, his dramas were staged in Kerala till 17th century. All his manuscripts are available in Saraswati Mahal Library in Tanjavur also. That shows me the lot of links between Kashmir and South India. So we found that between 2nd century present era to 11th century, Kashmir played a pivotal role in molding the whole Bharat. Shankaracharya visited Kashmir, Ramanujacharya visited Kashmir, and then Thirumalar, hailed from Kashmir, came to Tamil Nadu and taught Shaivism, which Mr. Seetharaman has done a lot of research about that. So this combination of the book shows the national integrity more or less, because from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, we had a unified exposure of culture, architecture, religion. So Mr. Seetharaman is able to prove that the Trika Shaivism has played a key role in transmitting so much of content to South Indian Saiva literature. He is able to prove, and also several gods from Kashmir transcended to Tamil Nadu from 9th century, 11th century, which he will explain a little later. This kind of research is very important for us now. Instead of confining ourselves to one particular area, we wish to do research informing the learned scholars like you. Now there is a lot of integration of the culture in India. We have to do a lot of research on that one. So in my book, Kashmir Valley Geostrategic Location, Richness with Biodiversity, Evidence of Early Man. Earliest man skull was Ramapithecus Panchapicus. The emergence of Vedic culture, subsequent visit of Gautama Buddha, the spread of Buddhism from Kashmir to Asian countries, visit of Shankaracharya and Sri Ramanujacharya to acquire wisdom knowledge from Kashmir Valley, especially from Sarada Peed. Spread of Kashmir and Shaivism to South India, introduction of Sufi culture are some of the aspects that every citizen should be proud of. So these are the aspects which I have done in this book. Between 6th to 12th centuries, scholars from all parts of India, Central Asia and China flocked to Kashmir for higher learning, and Kashmir has been considered a seat of higher education. For instance, oldest recorded numerical 0 was found in Sharda script. It's called Bakshali script. Recently were deciphered. No? First time we used 0. It is from Kashmir, which is considered as the greatest mathematical breakthrough. Again, excavation conducted Barsaho in Kashmir revealed that highly sophisticated head surgery was performed 4,000 years ago with the help of a medical professional who hailed from South India. That is why thousands of Kashmir scholars, philosophers, musicians and specialists in fine arts were invited by the king of other regions of India to accumulate wisdom in Kashmir. We have a wonderful example, well-known Kashmir poet Bilhana, settled in Karnataka and contributed significantly to Sanskrit poetry and dramas of Kashmirian. So these are some of the informations. During the 12th century, several Kashmiri Pandits visited Tamil Nadu and donated land grants to the temple. These pieces of evidence invariably show as to how invaluable has been the contribution of Kashmir to our culture and wisdom for the past 4,000 years, and we should strive to protect it for India's glorious future. More I work on Kashmir history and culture, more I am convinced that Kashmir is the crown of India. It has to be safeguarded. But unfortunately, only few percentage of population have realized the value of Kashmir Valley, the present scenario. This reason for the lacuna may be due to the fact that our educational syllabus has not included the history of Kashmir. Whereas we are told in Pakistan, the history of Kashmir has already been included in the schools for the past 10 years. That is why in 2013, I submitted a memorandum to the Minister of Primary School Education, Karnataka government, to include the history of Kashmir in the curriculum. That is there in my book also. So this book is as a student's awareness book. This is mainly for the student to know more about the Kashmir and other things. So during 2014, I organized an exhibition called Kashmir, the Crown of India, which was inaugurated former Chief Justice of India, Venkatachalaya. 2015, same was inaugurated by Dr. Rama Joyce, internationally well known, and also I think he's a foreigner of the Jensen also, right? He came there. So he also did. So I did 2 TV serial called Kashmir, the Crown of India, and also In Search of Sarada Civilization for the Sankara TV. So I just want to give you a small bullets point about the Sarada civilization. Till 17th century, Kashmir was known as a Sarada Desh. We have a documental evidence. Till 17th century, it was recorded also as Sarada Desh. Kashmir is also known as Sarada Desh, the first headquarters of goddess of language and speech. Sarada Peed is a fountainhead of Sanatana Dharma. All Vedas, Upanishads, major Puranas and important Sanskrit works emanated from here. Even today, the most ancient Sanskrit slogan known as Sarada is being recited every day. Namaste Sarada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini. Sarada Peed attracted great divine souls. Shankaracharya received his right to sit on the Sarvajnana Pida, throne of wisdom. He consecrated several Shiva temples in Kashmir Valley. He mastered Sri Chakra Upachana, installed first Sri Chakra temple in Kashmir, Hari Parvat. Okay. Tradition is strong that Ramanujacharya visited Sarada Peed to complete Sri Bhashya. Saint Tilmurar, hailed from Kashmir, was a devotee of Saradamba and he was instrumental in spreading Shaivism in South India. Visiting Sarada Peed, as we visit Balaji in Tirupati, was standard practice and ritual among the various kings and chieftains for the welfare of the region for the past from 2nd century to 11th century. 2000 years ago, a popular university existed in complex of Sarada Peed. Thousands of pilgrims and scholars from various parts of India and China, Laos, Cambodia and Bali visited Sarada Peed and studied there to attain universal knowledge. To transmit universal knowledge, a script was introduced by the Sarada Peed known as a Sarada script. I think JNU has a special curriculum or a school to teach Sarada script. In Sanskrit.
Yes. Yes,
School
so
of
the
Sanskrit
teacher.
Yes. The earliest manuscript of Ramayana and Mahabharata, the epics and Dharma Shastra were written in Sharda. Several mathematical and astronomical and medical treatises were written in Sharda. As we said, this is zero. Researchers who studied Sarada script claimed it as a miracle script compatible to high standard computer language. Even today, the secret code of Sarada script yet to be deciphered. For example, Kalpataru code of Sarada. I have seen that Kalpataru code of Sarada, still it has not been deciphered. What exactly it contains. Jawaharlal Nehru University has a specialized department to decode Sarada script to reveal the glorious universal knowledge. Such a great Sarada civilization suffered a setback under the cruel hands of invaders. Tradition is strong that Shankaracharya installed the original deity of goddess Sarada on the banks of Tungabhadra river. Presently, the original temple of Sarada Peeth is in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Many of my friends in America, they visited Sarada temple, they are having a American passport. If you have an American passport, whether you are Indian or non-Indian, you can visit. But we Indians, we cannot go to that place. I am told several unpublished Sarada script manuscripts are available in near Sarada, Muzaffarpur. That's the capital of Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So I request professors to find out any way to go there and acquire all the Sarada scripts. That's all we plan. How we can do.
Conquer the country and take it.
Oh, sure, sir.
Hello. Namaskaram. So I have 10 minutes, I believe. It's first of all, I am very much honored to release my book, Trika Shaivism and Thirumandiram, a comparative study in the prestigious University of JNU, Delhi. How temple architecture can reveal a great secret and unveil many historical facts. So I'm just going to quote one incident and give the mic to the concerned. Some 2 years back, I visited Kashmir. As an art historian, I would like to include the Avantipura temple visit in my trip. I've gone there. Though the temple is in a dilapidated condition, it attracts me so much. So I spent some 2 to 3 hours there. And I've taken some photographs and meditated there. Saw the sculptures. We can see some stupendous sculptures over there. Still it is dilapidated. We can see some 5 to 6 fantastic sculptures were there. Then after returning to Tamil Nadu, I used to study about the Avantipura. Then I came to know the king Avantivarma, who created the entire city and built 2 temples. One is for Lord Shiva and one is for Lord Krishna. When I am studying about Avantivarman and his period, there are some interesting information comes up. One of the information is his court minister is Bhatta Kallada. He is the key person who is instrumental for the Trika Shaivism. He wrote the great Spandakariga. Not only that, studying further, I have come to know some stunning informations. One of them is, while Shankaracharya visiting Sarada Peda, Bhatta Kallada met him in the Sarada Peeth. Then he has become disciple of Shankaracharya. With respect to his guru, he named his son as Sankaradeva. In the history of Kashmir, the name Shankaradeva is registered in the first time of history of Kashmir during Avantivarma period. So it is an interesting information, but as a historian, it triggers me something else. What it is? As of now, we all heard that Shankara lived between 788 to 820. But Avantivarma rules Kashmir from 858 to 883. Then how would be possible that he met Shankara? So my research get into another field. Shankaracharya visited Kashmir, which is an undeniable fact, everyone accepts. But when did he visit? That's $1 million question. So history records that he comes to Kashmir, I think more than 853 AD only, because Avanti Verma named his son as Sankradeva. These are all the informations available from a historical archaeologist who registers during 1915 AD. So Shankara must have lived later than 820, first breaking point. Then the Kashmiri Shaivism, the relations to Kashmiri Shaivism and Bhatta Kallada. So after Bhatta Kallada, there was one Lakshman Gupta, then only Abhinav Gupta comes. During Abhinav Gupta period, Trika Shaivism takes a complete shape. With that note, the comparative study from Kashmir and Tamil Nadu comes into picture. As both the professors told, Thirumandiram is the earliest treatise, then Trika Shaivism. According to the earlier scholars, some say it is from 5 to 6th century, some says it is 7 to 8th century. Either way, the primary property of Trika Shaivism or the essence of Trika Shaivism is called Pratyabhijna. The meaning of Pratyabhijna means any moment we can get enlightened. The moment we get enlightened, we are not only realizing that we are the realized soul, but we realize that we ever as a realized soul. That is the crux of Kashmiri Trika Shaivism. The same kind of philosophy is existed Tirumala's Thirumandiram. So this is a philosophical point of view, the correlation between South and North. But there are some architectural point of view, which is what the uniqueness of the book written by me, the Trika Shaivism and Thirumandiram. After Shankaracharya visited to Kashmir Valley, he get introduced the deity Sharda, alias Saraswati. Till such time, in Tamil Nadu, in temples, we cannot see the sculptures of Sarada.
I request the alumni to come
the
here.
period of
I request the
Abhinav
alumni
Gupta,
comes to the first row, please. The alumni.
after he returns from Kashmiri Valley, the deity Sarada is introduced in Tamil Nadu. Particularly during the reign of Rajaraja I in his Bragadishwara temple, it was the first time in the art history a Saraswati statue is being sculptured in Tanjore temple. From then onwards only, the Saraswati, worship of Saraswati and making sculpture out of Saraswati happened. So this is one of the primary connection between South and North. And interestingly, in the Indian philosophy, the monistic Shaivism is the one considered as the topmost philosophy in the world. In the history of Indian philosophy, there are three big personalities have spoken about the monastic Shaivism. One is Adi Shankara from south, the another one is Acharya Abhinav Gupta from the north, and Tirumular from the south. Interestingly, when we study deeper into their philosophies, they are mentioning three common deities. One is Lord Bhairava, another is Lord Bhairavi, and Saraswati. So all three mentions these three deities without fail. So this is the commonalities of these three gurus. from both south and north. In such a manner, it goes further. So in that book, I have started from pre-history of Kashmir, then art and architecture of Kashmir, then the philosophical exponents, then comparison study from Thirumandiram and Trika Shaivism. Finally, how the north and south confluences in terms of culture, philosophy and art. So that's my work. Thanks for the great opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Seetharaman ji. Thank you very much. It's really very. Please say it in the.
How it's possible.
So, shall I now?
Please remarks.
So I just want to give very brief remarks. I'm very delighted with these two books, and as Mr. Rajan has just mentioned, that of course the connection and relationship, intellectual, religious, spiritual, and all kinds of relationships between the land of the Tamil Nadu, the great land of Tamil Nadu, and Kashmir are there. You're absolutely right. From 230 onwards, or maybe a little earlier, there has been a direct relationship between Tamil Nadu and Kashmir, particularly related to Shaivism. Professor Seetharaman has written this book on Trika Shaivism, which is also known as Trika Tantrism and Krama Tantrism. These Krama and Trika Tantrism are the important aspects where Tamil Shaivism, as it is known later on from the 6th century onwards. So between 2 and 6th century onwards, there was a very hectic and very rigorous contact between the two places. How people travel, etc., is anybody's guess. You're quite right. More people traveled to Kashmir and from Kashmir to Tamil Nadu, and they carried with them whatever they had, the manuscripts, etc., or the knowledge that they carried in their memory. So that is one basic fact which we should never forget. There is a direct and a continuous unbroken chain of intellectual history, physical history even. Now you mentioned as far as the Trika and Krama Tantrism are concerned, these are very powerful, sophisticated systems in Shaivism. Krama literally means the order, that in that particular order you need to meditate upon the deity Shiva, but not just meditation, it is something to do that you can enhance the inner value of your body. That is one thing. And similarly, Trika, there are three elements that are very important in Shaivism. It's a very, I'm sorry, it's a little complex system, otherwise one can go on talking about it. So this is an extremely important book in that sense, and I'm sure he has mentioned one of the greatest scholars of, and discussed one of the greatest scholars, not that early, but from the 8th century onwards, and before that, of course, this is Abhinava Gupta I'm talking about, who writes one of the best books that has ever been written in the world. Yes. And I say this with some authority. I myself have been struggling with this for many, many decades, 3 decades. So anybody who can master Tantra Loka knows everything. So we don't even know 1% of it. That is one part. Then he wrote, other than Tantra Loka, he wrote a great commentary called Lochana, Dhvanya Loka Lochana, and then Abhinava Bharati, another book that he wrote independently, and then many other sutra books he wrote. And there he combines the cultural, intellectual, spiritual, as well as locational qualities of this land. So you see Tamil Nadu everywhere. Now, when you come down a little later, by the 12th century that you're talking about, yes, it is true that even Ramanujan had travelled. I'm not sure whether Ramanujan's great disciple ever travelled or not, but their work is full of not only the beauty. If it is an aesthetics book, then it is full of the beauty and admiration of the language, which is written those days quite rightly in Sharada script, and it's a very precise and scientific script, but also in terms of philosophical value of Shaivism that Tamil Nadu enriched Kashmir. It's just not the one-way traffic. It's not only Kashmir that influenced the Tamil Shaivism as we know by 12th century. It is the Kashmiri scholars, particularly Abhinavagupta, and even before that, they are mentioning how they have learned the beauty of Shaivism from Tamil Nadu as early as 3rd century AD. Some scholars even say, I am not an archaeologist, so I don't know, but inscriptions are available even older dates. That is in the text. Second part is the literature. One person which we all read, and in Sanskrit literature, particularly in drama and poetry, one of the greatest, equal to Kalidas. Kalidas is supposed to have been from Kashmir, but we don't know. He spent most of his time in Ujjain. Panini is supposed to have been from Kashmir. But one person from South India, Tamil Nadu, I don't know where he was from, his name is Bharavi. In the 6th century, Madurai, he writes a beautiful description of Kashmir and Himalaya. I have no idea whether he visited it or not. He writes in most lyrical, beautiful poem about Himalaya, and he compares all his words and imaginations are absolutely inspired by Tamil Nadu, because this is what he was. He was a Tamil Brahmin. And wrote in Sanskrit, of course in Tamil as well, the language I don't know. I always envy those who know Tamil, and I say I'll be a very sad man if I die without learning Tamil. But I read them in translation. So Bharavi writes in Tamil, but in Sanskrit, his Sanskrit is just remarkable. It has the texture of the beautiful old Tamil language, and he writes in Sanskrit this drama, and the most famous drama, of course, is Kirata Arjuniyam, where Arjuna goes hunting and looking for Shiva. So there is a constant connection. I am absolutely certain beyond 12th century there is much more. It's a different matter that by the 16th century you have something which is called Neo-Shaivism. That has very little to do with this great 1600, 1500 years connection between the two. And if you are connected to Kashmir, obviously the parts in between are not left untouched. So almost Shankaracharya talking about Abhinavagupta, as I mentioned. Abhinavagupta, I don't know whether he travelled ever to Tamil Nadu or not, but he is inspired by Trika and Trika Shaivism, which Kashmir, which is known for being a sort of great philosophy of Kashmir, but you could read a lot of it. Kambana, when you come writing in 12th century, the great Ramayana, he also mentions that there have been acharyas who have visited and ruminated, and many of them never returned to Tamil Nadu. They became the Kashmiris. So therefore there is a constant connection. I happen to, somehow, I'm convinced of the fact that there are parallel traditions even after the 16th, 17th century of new Shaivism that developed much later, 17th century. The old Shaivism still remains, and at the moment there is another great center in Pondicherry which is working on that, a lot of scholars. So that there is never a doubt of one place, one land, where a person living in the south is writing about the north or about other India, and the vice versa that is happening. So this is a very great service, I think, by both of you to philosophy and to literature. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Professor, thanks a lot. Very enlightening talk. And before I'm handing over for a small introduction of the book, we are very particular to get the manuscripts from Pakistan occupied Kashmir, because my friends who visited there, they were able to identify certain manuscripts.
No, I said it in jest that the one way to do would be to occupy the area. But how far can you occupy? That's one thing. I will be happy personally, of course.
Yeah. So anyhow, thank you very much for everybody to this one. I'm very happy. The only thing is, I'm very particular that student population should know the invaluable contribution of Kashmir
and Tamil Nadu.
And Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka, which is very particular. When we made a survey, we found that only 3% of the population, they knew anything about Kashmir. Many of them remember the Kashmir Ki Kali movie very easily, but they don't know the impact of Kashmir on the Indian soil. And Sri Lanka is much more Western, because the world, we have now 195 countries are in the world. 2 countries, they have a continuous occupation, is India and Sri Lanka. 35,000 years, continuously we have a inflow of the human population from prehistoric time till now. Unfortunately, this history has not been known to anybody in Tamil Nadu also. Recently, I met the Minister of School Education, request him to add Kashmir and Sri Lanka. And 65% of the student population, they know only one person from Sri Lanka, that is Muttaya Muralidharan, who is a cricketer. So we have to add this. I request all of you and alumni here to think of this, introduce Kashmir history to the curriculum and also Sri Lankan history. It's the greatest service we are doing it. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Professor, for a nice thing. Now I hand it.
Yeah, before just a quick remarks. Acha, I'll hand over to the Dean.
Thank you. Congratulations to both of you writing good text, Rajan ji and Sri.Tkv.Rajan ji. Of course, Professor Hiraman Tiwari ji has given a detailed account of the context to which you have been writing the books. I'm a geographer basically, so therefore historical facts probably you know better than me, but my contest has always been as a sacred geography. I work on the temple geography, locations basically. You place them in different parts of India and then you understand that why these temples probably came at that point of time. You had a vivid account of that, how the Sharda Peeth and the location elsewhere. Now, you said it that student of history or the student should understand the crown of India is Kashmir. I say, but geographically how this formation came up. When the whole plate continental movements were taking place, I hope at that point of time the Eurasian plate were moving down and the Indian plate were moving up. There was a great upheaval that took place and then the structural formation of a crown that emerged during that point of time and the beautiful valley was created. That is one, and my concept is that in geography we study that why these locations probably might have been taken up in those locations where the present temples are there. So locational analysis of temple is one more important aspect, and how you said it that the Shankaracharya moved from south to east to west and then to north and then to Kedarnath. Sharda Peeth has been one of the greatest places of cultural integration. People hardly know much about it, but that was the greatest peak probably where the whole cultural dissemination happened. Another thing which they mentioned about is that how beautifully to understand the historical migration patterns was that the people from the south, they moved to north, and the north they moved to south. That is where they brought the culture, the temple architect with them. But in today's context to what he said, that recently so many changes happening. Today the masala dosa can move to north, not the culture is moving. What we can move to the south is the chapati culture that is moving to the south. But culturally the value system is not moving both. That happened in the past. And that is the culture that is enriched because of those cultural movements which has taken place historically past. So you probably have brought in the architectural values system from north to south and south to north. Then that is probably the cultural link we create through these temples and people moving up and down. That is how the Indian cultural history might have been created, and that creates the oneness to ourselves. And then you also made a mention to that how the unification of in India is one. I hope we were also making a reference to all these temples, and then Shakti Peethas also is one. Maybe few 51, 52 are known, but actually 108 Shakti Peethas are there, right from south to north and east. If we are able to construct or manifest in how these locations and then join, that means the cultural values right from the east to west and north to south makes India unified culturally. That is to be really brought to the notice of the students, and they should read it. And then you said it that the religious manifestations can be brought through your Shaivism or any other value system you create. So that's also very important what you made a mention to, and very happy to know that the zero came from the Sharda Peeth. That means mathematically, not mathematically, it is academically how that center might have developed at that time. One need to understand that when I look at, say, the temples, I hope much of the knowledge have come out from the temples only. And they have been the seat earlier of learning for all of us. So that means the temple architecture is something different which you can appreciate from outside, but it has a meaning why the temple probably has a shape like this, how the architect might have been created. But I say that the temples have been the center of learning, and the center of learning probably was one through which we have been able to bring the idea of Indian value cultural system to the masses which were surrounding, because they have belief in the temples. So that means the temple belief and the society together brought a great change. I hope that is what he was making a mention to. Another thing very important is that at that point of time, the donations have been on the forefront, that people, those who went from the Pandit, who went to the north to the south, they made huge donation to the temples. And those who came to the south, they also made a same kind of the donation or something like this. This is how we need to build up an idea, and history, as what you said it, has a great responsibility. How JNU has carved out a historical niche, I keep mentioning to many people in different conferences, and at the Dean School of Social Sciences we say, history and the CHS or Historical Studies Center has a greater responsibility to bring in these kind of the learning and teaching and the research, which probably they have started doing it. And in due course of time, probably the whole concept of Indian history would change. And I say in most of my lectures also, that temple should be the focal of all historical learning. If we are able to make that point, because the Christian, they say that my church is the location and the center of learning from where I flow. They say my mosque is the center of learning. But I never say the temple is the seat of learning for me. This is where we are lacking, in a sense that we have to personify our temples, where we would be able to say that my religion, my culture, my values, and my belief originate from these locations. And we need to have a kind of a relationship with them. We have to make people aware the way they carry themselves, that the Indian masses, especially the Hindus, probably lack in that kind of a sense of bringing them very close to the temples and learning from them, and not even taking the next generation to those temples and locations. So generational change has to be brought in, and the temple will be the focal of learning all this. With this note, I congratulate you once for writing. I need to go, whether I will be able to understand them in detail or not. But yes, I will keep it as a record for me to read sometime whenever I will get time to work on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and once again, congratulations. One more point you have already mentioned.